Hello from Zolder. Are you ready to hear the roar? Are you ready for the 7th race weekend of the DTM season 2020? Well, we certainly are. The sun may be shining, but it's a little deceiving because it's freezing, and I'm sure the weather is going to be a topic here. But we're excited to be here in Belgium, and of course, it's getting more and more exciting by each race, and now we're expecting a very exciting race. Here's your commentator.
Thanks very much, Verena. Yes, cool conditions here as we head well into the autumn now. We're at the 2/3 mark of the 2020 DTM season, and it's only 12 degrees at Zolder. And there was some overnight rain, which led to a damp qualifying session, and the track has still got some damp patches. It's taking much longer to dry than it did in slightly warmer conditions yesterday. My name's Chris Hartley. I'm going to be talking you through the race today and all of tomorrow's action as well, with another qualifying session and race to come, as the drivers now just sharpening up the reflexes as they try to focus their minds ready for what's going to be a race that requires a lot of concentration. This circuit is a challenging 4.011 kilometre long lap, 10 corners, but it's got 3 chicanes, it's got lots of undulations, and there is not much room for error, particularly in these conditions, says the chairman of the ITR, Gerhard Berger, who oversees the DTM. And we've got Robert Kubica there, just to the right of your picture, just to the back of Robert, who is having his first time in a DTM car at Zolder. It is the track which was first home to DTM back in its first season. Its first race, in fact, was here back in 1984. There was a race in 2002, and then a huge gap before they came back last year in 2019. So the rookies this year, and also Lucas Auer, who wasn't competing in DTM last year, have new experiences to get used to with this circuit. So in qualifying, which, as I said, was on a damp, drying but not very quickly drying circuit this morning, René Rast managed to steal pole position by actually what's the biggest advantage in pole position so far this year, 0.3 of a second, and he did it right at the death, the very last lap. He was almost the last driver to cross the line, and he prevented Timo Glock from getting BMW's first pole position of the season. Crucially as well, he's ahead of the 2 drivers that are in front of him in the championship, with the championship leader Nico Müller only 7th, his worst qualifying of the season so far. Right, I think we can now hear down on the grid from the driver that got pole position for this 13th round of the championship.
With me is a pole setter, René Rast, but funny enough, you're not as happy as you could be starting in pole position. You were getting out of the car, shaking your hand. Tell us why.
Yeah, before qualify I said maybe pole position is not the best position because it's a left-hand line and it's still fully wet on pole position. The right-hand side is fully dry. From Robin onwards it's also better, but the pole position is the worst starting position today. It's fully wet, so for sure the start will be compromised by that. I still hope that I can somehow manage to not drop to the last place, but let's see.
And quick question, why did you push so hard in the qualifying and actually snap pole position in the last second?
Yeah, you never know. If you don't push, you might finish 2nd or 3rd or 4th. So you always try to maximize what you have and try to manage later. But yeah, obviously pole position is still good for 3 points. But I hope that it will dry up, but it didn't. So now we have to see.
All right, but I know that knowing you, you're going to make the best out of it. Thank you very much, so. René. Best of luck for the race. Hopefully it's going to dry up a bit. Back to the commentator.
Yeah, we'll see. There is a slight chance of rain, a 19% chance that we'll have some more rain, but in amongst the dark clouds, there are certainly some brighter skies up ahead. Loic de Waal is going to be disappointed, to say the least, to be 10th on the grid, because he went very well in the second free practice session yesterday in the dry, where he was 2nd, but only 0.005 of a second behind Robin Frijns. There is Loic, who earlier, just before we came on air, was seen to be walking all the way down to the first corner to just examine what kind of levels of grip there might be there. There's Lucas Auer returning to the DTM this season, starting in 9th place. Of course, his first time driving a DTM car around this circuit. As René Rast said, those extra championship points that you collect, 3 for pole, 2 for qualifying 2nd, and a point for qualifying 3rd, very important. But as he said, it's not ideal to be on pole position because that side of the circuit is damp, and it's going to be harder for the left-hand side of the grid to get the cars off the line. There's Harrison Newey, who equalled his best qualifying so far this season. He'll be starting 8th in the WRT Team Audi Sport car. So Nico Müller leading on 242 points, Robin Frijns second on 225. He got a point for qualifying, so the gap's only 17 now, and René Rast third. But in amongst them, we've got Timo Glock, who's got his best grid since 2018. We can hear from him now down with Verena.
Starting in P2 is Timo Glock. And Timo, you were quite excited that you almost had pole position, but now that the topic is this side is wet and this side is drier, I guess you're almost a bit happy starting in P2?
Yeah, it's definitely an advantage now. I mean, for sure it's helping. I don't know how much the wind will, blow it dry on the other side, but I think it's too cold for it at the moment. So the advantage at the moment is a bit more on my side, but honestly, I'm a bit worried about those clouds above, which I'm just turning up. So let's see. I mean, it's going to be an interesting one, and see what we can do.
Absolutely. And speaking of interesting, here at the Zolder circuit, it's very difficult to overtake, right?
Yeah.
Which sections are there where you can actually overtake?
Well, there are not many. I mean, you need to be for sure into turn one could be an option, but at the end, I think it's mainly down to if the guy in front of you makes a mistake. Otherwise, it's going to be very difficult, or he struggles with the tires. So not an easy one to overtake.
Okay, well, best of luck for the race. Thank you so much, Timo.
Ciao, ciao.
Back to you.
Well, good to hear from Timo Glock. As I say, it's his best qualifying of the year. His previous best was 5th on the grid. It's the first time on the front row of the grid since the first weekend of the 2018 season where he got pole position. There's Sheldon van der Linde, who's moved up to 4th in the standings after picking up points in all 4 of the races at the doubleheader at the Nürburgring last time out. We're, of course, at the start of another doubleheader weekend because it's back to Zolder next weekend for what will be the penultimate round of the 2020 DTM, and then Hockenheim to come in November for the title decider. Very much hoping to be in amongst the title contenders going into that final round, and certainly in amongst them now, the driver that's second in the standings, Robin Frijns, and he's down on the grid speaking to Verena.
And now I've got the man here who's starting in P3, Robin Frijns. Robin, good job in qualifying, and I guess the main thing is Nico Müller far behind you. How tough is the race going to be?
Well, obviously, as you can see, we start a bit on the wet patch on the left side. Basically, all the BMWs on the right will probably have a better start than us. Hopefully, it's not a big difference. But yeah, I mean, I'm start behind René. He's obviously also in the title hunt. Same for me. Nico is behind us. So we just need to keep it clean. Hopefully, we can have a nice battle with René and me and Timo, and we'll see each other on the podium, let's hope.
And just quickly, you live half an hour away from here. Is it a little bit like almost like a home race?
It is, yeah. It's like 25 minutes, half-hour drive, so it feels a bit strange because normally you always live in hotels and so forth, but now it's like, you go, it's like it feels a bit like a holiday.
All right, well, don't enjoy too much.
Yeah,
Thank you, and best of luck for the race, Robin. Thank you. Back to you.
Good to hear from Robin, always pretty relaxed, pretty chilled out, and always very forthright in his interviews as well. And yeah, nice to stay at home for a change. Right, will it be wet or dries? We'd say dry at the moment, but as I say, there are some dark clouds above, so the Hankook wet tyres are being readied just in case. It's also worth noting that here last year, there were some different pit stop strategies. Now, there's a pit stop window reintroduced this year, so you can't pit until 5 laps of the race have been completed. We did have some drivers pitting at the end of the first lap in the races last year, but one driver to note is Jamie Green, who took a 2-stop strategy last year. He pitted on laps 11 and 22 in one of the races and got himself up onto the podium. So that's something to perhaps consider. It's also worth considering what we've said about the one side of the grid being still damp, much damper than the other side of the grid, and therefore more chance of wheel spin off the line and worse starts. The drivers that are on that side, well, all 3 of the top 3 in the championship. René Rast, who starts first, Robin Frijns, who starts third, and then Müller, who starts in 7th place. And on the better, drier side of the grid, you've got Timo Glock second, Marco Wittmann 4th, both BMWs, and another BMW, Sheldon van der Linde, who's a race winner in DTM now, starting in 6th position. So to Harrison Newey in 8th and Loic Duval in 10th place, which is perhaps why he was going having a look down at that first corner. So Dieter Gas and all team principals at Audi will be hoping for another victory. They've had 10 so far from the 12 rounds, and they've already wrapped up in record time the manufacturers, the brand championship for 2020. The driver's title still to be decided, though, with 6 rounds to go. So the circuit located in the Zolder municipality. It's to the northeast of Belgium. The area's got an industrial past. Coal was mined here for almost 70 years, from 1923 up until 1992. It was in fact the last coal mine to close in the Benelux region. But it's picturesque. The Tournament Castle, one of many privately owned castles in the region. Lots of historic buildings here as well. An abundance of forests and heaths and canals and lakes. It's become a popular destination for tourists in more recent times. One of the biggest attractions, though, of course, is the Circuit of Zolder. First opened in 1964. It's an undulating, challenging circuit that's hosted the 10 Formula 1 Grand Prix in the 1970s and early 1980s. And this was home to the first ever DTM race. That one won by the BMW 635 of Harold Gross back in 1984. Who was here as one of the special guests on the grid last year when the DTM returned to this circuit for what had been the first time in 17 years. That famous victory, which Harold only picked up after a late retirement for Hans-Joachim Stuck, meaning that BMWs in that first DTM race finished in first, second, third and fourth positions. Oh, how they would like to repeat that feat today. But there is an opportunity, and you have to say, whenever the weather has played a part so far this year, BMW have taken advantage. Yes, by their own admission, they've not had as quick a car as the Audis, certainly in qualifying. In the races, they've tended to be closer, but when the conditions are changeable, they have a real chance. René Rast and Timo Glock then share the front row of the grid. One Audi, one BMW. Then it's Robin Frijns, second in the championship, and Marco Wittmann, again, Audi and BMW. Mike Rockenfeller qualified fifth. And then we've got Sheldon van der Linde starting in sixth place. The fourth row, his worst qualifying so far this season. Nico Müller seventh. Harrison Newey equaling his best qualifying in eighth. Lucas Auer and Loic de Waal will complete the top 10. They share the fifth row of the grid. Then it's Philippe Eng, who got his maiden DTM win here last season, and Ferdinand Habsburg, there 11th and 12th. Jamie Green, who looked good in free practice, back in 13th. Jonathan Aberdeen in 14th alongside. And then it's Robert Kubica 15th, and Fabio Scherer looking for his first DTM point of the season, 15th and 16th. There you can see the wind turbines here. There is a breeze. It's a 55-minute plus 1 lap race as ever. The lap record held by Philippe Eng, who had a tremendous weekend here. Last May was the second weekend of the season. He got his maiden victory in a race which was interrupted by a mid-race safety car and really shut the order up and gave Philippe the opportunity to get a win. He got a second place finish, and he actually walked away from this event last year as the DTM championship leader. A lot has happened since then, and certainly this year. Dieter Gast, to the left of your picture, the director of motorsport for Audi, who's been all smiles this year because they've had a tremendous season. But can the BMWs, as I say, get in amongst them in these with this opportunity in these conditions? Robin Frijns then in the car, strapped in safely, ready to go. It's also worth noting that the new rules on DRS this year are going to make perhaps quite a big difference at this circuit, one of the shorter circuits on the lap, whereas last year there was a limited number of 12 laps where you could use DRS, deploy the more sleek rear wing angle on the cars. Well, this year it's the new rule is that you can use DRS for 50% of the expected race laps, and that obviously makes a difference where you've got more race laps because it's a shorter lap. So DRS will be deployed a lot here at Zolder, and of course they also get the push to pass, which they can use 24 times each. That delivers another 60 brake horsepower to push the total power of the car up to 640 brake horsepower. They can see then the aerial shots of the grid, or the overhead shot of the grid. Not quite an aerial, but you can see those damp patches that René Rast was talking about. His car very much on them, and with the cool conditions, it's going to take some time to get the tyres up to temperature. Slick tyres for now. There's a great shot with the pole side of the grid all lined up absolutely accurately behind one another. René Rast having picked up his fourth pole position of the season. He's had 2 wins this year, but he hasn't won for a while. He won both of his races at the Lausitzring, the different formats of the circuit in the second and third weekends of the season, but he didn't pick up any wins or podiums at Assen. He's picked up 4 podiums on the bounce since then, but not a win, 3 seconds and a third from the 2 race weekends at the Nürburgring. The driver that's been of the championship contenders picking up the most points has been Robin Frijns, who's won 2 out of the last 4, picked up a second and had a 5th place finish as well. And for Nico Müller, it was mixed results at the Nürburgring, winning a 5th in both of the race weekends around the Nürburgring Grand Prix circuit and the sprint circuit as well. So the cars heading off onto the formation lap, and two jobs here really for them. One, to keep their eyes fixed on where those damp patches are going to be. And there is quite a large area of this circuit which is under tree cover. As you'll see, perhaps from some of the aerial shots that we get, there are trees lining around either side of the circuit at points, and where there is tree cover, the track dries out slower. So the racing line itself shouldn't be a problem, and it will dry up fairly quickly once they all get going around, because it's not that damp, so it's certainly nowhere near as damp as it was this morning. However, as I say, with the cool conditions, they've got to really spot what those damp patches are, but also make sure, as you can see from the weaving, that they warm the tyres up as quickly and efficiently as they can, and the brakes too. It's a hard braking circuit, this. So rear facing camera, you get to see, there you go, the tree cover. We've also got the Albert Canal, which is a huge 80-mile long canal which runs from Antwerp to Liège, just at the back of the circuit as well. So it's picturesque surroundings. You get the undulations here as well, particularly out through the end of the first sector as they run down towards the Villeneuve chicane. And there are definitely more and more damp patches. We have a limited number of spectators allowed into the venue here at Zolder. Great opportunity for them. Some of them have pitched up just outside the circuit as well, by the looks of it, and we've already seen some Robert Kubica flags as well, the Polish driver, having some great support here, looking to pick up his second points finish of the season if he can. He was unlucky last time out at the Nürburgring where he got the car, the All-N ART BMW, up into 6th place in the early stages, only to then suffer a retirement, and his actually first retirement of the season after a gearbox problem. But he qualified well and was able to race well at the start. See what he can do from further back. There'll be a few further back down the grid to watch coming through, I reckon. One of them definitely is going to be Jamie Green, 205 times a race starter in the DTM. Stefan Reinhold there getting ready to see what happens at the start of this race then.
3, 2, 1, stop. Good position. The cars are still approaching.
Slow approach. 3, 2, 1. Go, 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 go. Stop. Perfect. As we discussed, the margin, ALS on.
So drivers being guided into their grid positions as accurately as possible by their engineers. Dieter Gas watches on. René Rast on pole position for Team Rosberg, the reigning champion, and the reigning champion team as well. 44 points behind Nico Müller, the championship leader. 25 points up for grabs with the race win here, and with the championship leader back on the 4th row of the grid. An opportunity, but can he get the car off the line? Red lights come on, and round 13 of the DTM 2020 gets underway. It's a great start, in fact, for the pole sitter. It's going to be side by side for second place. So it's going to be Rast, but will it be Glock or Frijns? It's going to be Frijns that gets through. Great start for Rockenfeller as well, who charges up the inside, wheel to wheel between the Audi and the BMW, trying to go around the outside of Timo Glock, which he does on the way into turn 2. And then we've got Sheldon van der Linde getting tagged and sideways. The number 31 BMW is dropped into the middle of the pack, I'm afraid. But a great start for Rast. Frijns up to second. Rockenfeller, terrific start, up to 3rd place already. And down to 4th place for Timo Glock, and still weaving to try and get some heat into the tyres, even though the race is underway here. Ferdinand Habsburg with a decent start as well, has got himself up a couple of positions. A huge lock up ahead. On the way, we've got Sheldon van der Linde cutting the corner. He had to take evasive action there, but 3 or 4 of them were locking up. Jamie Green going on the attack now to take advantage of that slow start. It's been a really good start as well for Harrison Newey. He's in 5th place, so can he get his best result of the season? There's a mighty long way to go, but this is a great start for him. And then he's followed by Müller. He's got 1 place. He's up to 6th. Wittmann in 7th place just behind him. So the 51 Audi of Nico Müller, the championship leaders. An okay start, up 1 place. Make their way through the Ockenried chicane now, not the tightest of the chicanes. And then they come into the Jackie X chicane at the end of the lap, named after the 6th time Le Mans winner, the Belgian great ex-Formula 1 driver. Through they come at the end of lap 1. Everybody seems to have survived, and René Rast is your race leader by exactly half a second over the line from Robin Frijns in 2nd place, Rockenfeller 3rd, Glock in 4th, Newey 5th, Müller 6th, and then Wittmann 7th, Habsburg 8th. Eng has made a good start up to 9th, and Lucas Auer has dropped down 1 to 10th position. Push to pass enabled now, up to 24 uses per driver, and the only driver that can't do that or use DRS, of course, is the race leader, as René Rast well knows, after suffering the penalty for doing so at the start of the year at Spa. Sparks trailing then from Sheldon van der Linde's machine. He's dropped down to 13th place. Jamie Green actually lost a place off the start as well in 14th. And look at the battle for 3rd place here. Rocky coming under fire now from Timo Glock as they come over the crest of the hill, and sparks fly, and the BMW is going to get down the inside on the way into the chicane and just about holds him off. So through he goes. Timo Glock gets 1 place back. Look how much the top 2 have already got away from them though. So Glock back up to 3rd, Rockenfeller in 4th, Harrison Newey coming now in 5th place. The ex-Formula 3 racer, the DTM rookie, showing well here, which you wouldn't expect on the circuit, which he hasn't even, I don't think, driven before. The DTM and all the circuits in a DTM car are new to him, but I don't think in previous experience he would have necessarily raced around here, things like Formula 3 or Formula 4. So it's a great effort so far. The circuit obviously suits Harrison well. He's just ahead of the championship leader. Jonathan Aberdeen coming through the shot in the blue and white BMW, being hunted down by the other team, Rosberg Audi of Jamie Green, teammate to the race leader, René Rast, who's way ahead now. Currently 0.8 of a second clear of Robin Frijns, and then you've got a 2.5 second gap back between Frijns in 2nd and Glock in 3rd place. It's Jamie Green trying to get the run coming out of the turn, trying to creep alongside as they come out through turn 2 to turn 3. Down the inside he goes, and did he get through? Still side by side, and now Jonathan Aberdeen has fended him off. Robert Kubica has got closer to the back of them now. These 3 battling for 13th, 14th and 15th positions respectively. Great shot there as these turbocharged cars come through. Jamie Green going wide, over the chicane, over the curbs, didn't gain a place, didn't lose a place. On the attack then for Robin Frijns in 2nd place. He's just set the best first sector of the race so far. The track dries out, you can expect some terrific lap times here, because in free practice, even in free practice 1, they were underneath the qualifying lap record times. Obviously got nowhere near that in qualifying itself because of the damp track. But if it does dry up, you could well see the race lap record being broken here. The difference between the lap times in DTM 2019 and the previous time they were here in 2002 was 19 seconds quicker. Incredible. These Class 4 machines have developed and have continued to do this season. Audi's 1 and 2 then. Glock in the BMW in 3rd place. And also got 3 other BMWs up in the top 10, Wittmann, Eng and Auer. Replay of the start. He hooked it up beautifully, didn't he, René Rast? And Sheldon van der Linde made a good start, looking at him coming through on the replay. He got boxed out through turn 1. So this was the run down towards turn 1. Towards Erst, on board with Timo Glock, had already lost the place off the line to Robin Frijns. Through the left-hander they went, and there was the contact that he was having with Mike Rockenfeller alongside him. Proper touring car racing that, all the way down into turn 2 at Sterrenbach. That was where Rockenfeller got the place sorted. Now, the gap between the top 2 at the start of the lap was 0.7 of a second, but even though René Rast set an absolute best through the first sector, a bit quicker through the second sector was Robin Frijns, and he looks like he's quicker through sector 3 as well. So, unless my eyes deceive me, that gap is no longer 0.7 of a second. Oh, Loic Duval's going to get a pit stop penalty for a jump start. So 5 seconds. So when he comes in for his mandatory start, we'll have to go to the penalty area and stop for an extra 5 seconds. And the gap has indeed come down from 0.7 to 0.3 of a second between the top 2. You're right on board then with Robin Frijns in 2nd place. 2nd in the championship, hunting down the race leader, René Rast, who is 3rd in the championship standings. Müller still at the moment in 6th place, is 0.3 of a second behind Harrison Newey. So as it stands, Robin Frijns is going to pick up 18 points for 2nd place, and only 8 points, 10 less for Müller in 6th. Early days, but he could more than half the advantage in terms of points that the championship leader Nico Müller has. So René Rast on that first sector, a bit quicker. He responds 25.5 seconds through sector 1, 25.7 for Frijns, 25.5 as well for Glock. But he's not closing the gap over the course of a lap. There's Loic Duval. unfortunately, has got this 5-second penalty for the jump start. Not that it really did him any good, because he started 10th. He's running in 11th place at the moment. But it might not have been the fact that he jumped the start. He was maybe just slightly out of position. But the sensors are so minute that there's no room for error there. And unfortunately, Loki's going to have to pay the price. It's been, so far, a frustrating day. Very promising it was for him yesterday, because he had good long run pace. And he, as I said, was only just a tiny bit slower than Robin Frijns in the overall lap times for free practice 2 yesterday. Made a big step forward between FP1 and FP2. Right, Harrison Newey still fending off Nico Müller, closing the door just in time as Nico shows his nose. As we've heard, it's not the easiest place to overtake here at Zolder, so qualifying really was important this morning. Nico Müller, 4th quickest in the 2 dry free practice sessions, but in free practice 2 his pace was very good. He was actually only a 10th slower than Robin Frijns. It was very, very small margins between the top 4 in that free practice session, so he's got the pace. He had good pace long run as well. Passing then has come in early, so could this be a 2-stop strategy? Potentially
no
could.
Ghost, pit stop light, watch out, white line exit.
Aberdeen has got a best result so far in DTM of 4th. 2 faults he's had, one at Aston Martin and Nürburgring, both coming last season. And he's the first to come in and make a pit stop, trying something different. He'll get out in clear air, so he's going to have no traffic to deal with. He can put some quick lap times in, and he's not going to have a crowded pit lane either, with everybody else potentially coming in with room, a tight squeeze. We've seen several times this year, 2 or 3 cars coming in at the same time to make pit stops and then running side by side down the pit lane. So if you're stuck at the back anyway, the thinking is get the pit stop done, get some clear air, and then don't get boxed in during the pit stops themselves. If it's going to be a one-stop strategy, though, it's going to be a very long time on the second set of Hankook Ventus slick tyres to make them last. It's not the heaviest circuit on tyre wear, this, but it is still pretty heavy, particularly with all the horsepower you've got on these cars these days, and particularly the fact that there's a lot of heavy braking zones here at the circuit. So if it's a one-stop, Jonathan Aberdeen's going to have a long run, but maybe he's going for a 2. We'll see. As I said, Jamie Green had a 2-stop strategy last year, which is good enough to get him up onto the podium. Green in 13th place now. And Aberdeen has been in. That was the driver he was stuck behind. As you remember, we saw that little battle that was going on with him and Robert Kubica and Jamie Green for a couple of laps early on. Right, the gap has been creeping out. René Rast has responded. 0.9 of a second now is the advantage for the 2019 champion. Timo Glock has set the absolute best first sector time. It was a couple of tenths quicker than Robin Frijns, but he's 3.8 seconds behind him, so there's no real pressure yet. Rockefeller a little bit slower on that previous lap, 3 tenths down on the lead group, so he's dropping back from the top 3.
Man, he's defending like hell now.
Well, he would, wouldn't he? That's Nico Müller complaining that he's not able to find an easy way past Harrison Newey here, who's defending, and Loic Duval coming in. Now he's going to also serve this penalty.
Okay, Loic, so we stop to do the penalty. 5 seconds, you watch the marshal.
So adhering to the pit lane speed limits so as not to get another penalty. Duval in, 5 seconds here for his jump start infringement.
Okay, go. We go for a new set of tires. We will be slightly in front of Aberdeen, maybe will be tight, and we use push to pass and DRS for the next lap.
So new slicks coming on for Loic Duval. With his race engineer, you heard talking to him.
Go. For info, Green got the board.
6.5 seconds. You don't get many quicker than that. Between 6 and 7 is a really good stop. Between 7 and 8, okay. It's incredible, isn't it? Up to 9 crew members can work on the car. One of them a wheel catcher to prevent any error at wheels. So Duval racing with Aberdeen. Those are the 2 that have made the pit stops so far. Duval, of course, who was ahead of him on the road, had that extra 5 seconds to be added to his time. Very close to the wall before they make the cut into turn 1, aren't they, some of these cars? Harrison Newey still fending off Nico Müller, and then you've got Marco Wittmann just behind. Wittmann and Eng had a bit of a tight squeeze in the last race weekend of the Nürburgring on one of the restarts, one of the races interrupted by 3 safety cars. Nico Müller got boxed in between them, and then Jamie Green's and made it out. He tried to overtake down the inside and came together in race 1 with the championship leader and sent Nico into a spin. He recovered well though from being in last place at one point and got himself back up into the top 5 and then won comfortably the next day. And we've had a stop already for Robert Kubica as well. So some early stops here. I thought there might be some drivers opting to do this. Particularly, it's not the easiest place to overtake. You're at the back anyway. Your biggest chance to come through might be further back through the pit lane. That's all the time was for the ART squad. But they don't have as many mechanics to choose from their pit crew as some of the other teams, who can have up to 20 mechanics and pick the most experienced, the quickest members at changing tyres and wheels during the pit stops. But it's not really a luxury that they have for Robert Kubica, and they actually have to use a couple of engineers to be part of the crew. The data engineer and the performance engineer have to double up as wheel changers, or part of the pit crew at least. And obviously that's not their main job, so been a bit slow compared to the others. 10+ second pit stops quite frequently. They're getting better, but it is difficult when they're up against guys that have got 20 odd years experience in pit crews and changing tyres for other teams. Well, it's been part of the reason that Robert has struggled a bit at times. You lose 3 or 4 or 5 seconds during a pit stop, and it takes a long time to make that back up on the track, even if you're a couple of tenths of that quicker than the group that you're trying to catch. Race leader suddenly 1.7 seconds clear then. René Rast did a 121.1 last time around, a 121.6 for Robin Frijns, again half a second on that previous lap, a 121.3 for Glock. Jamie Green has been in. Lights up the tyres, not a bad stop, 7.4 seconds from Team Rosberg. On board, you can still see the damp patches, and there's a big lock-up from Harrison Newey just ahead, but he gets on the power okay, and again, Nico Müller wasn't close enough to be able to take advantage of that. Nico Wittmann ready to pounce as well, but Harrison Newey doing a good job, and they both battle for the pits. I've had enough of following Harrison Newey, so Muller's in, and you're on board with Marco Wittmann, who comes in as well, from 6th and 7th respectively. Rast leads, Frijns second, Glock in third, Rockenfeller 4th, Newey 5th, Habsburg's promoted up to 6th, up to 7th comes Philipp Eng, Van der Linde back up to 8th, Auer 9th, and then it's going to be Fabio Scherer in the points at the moment, looking for he's the only driver yet to score a point in DTM 2020. Can the rookie do it here? The Swiss up into the top 10 for now, trying to come from the back of the field. So race between the crews.
We'll keep you updated on the fast lane.
Muller versus Wittmann.
Okay, Wittmann is just go, go, go.
It's going to be tight, but Muller's going to do it. I think he's going to stay out just ahead. 0.3 of a second quicker for Team Ad Sportsline on the pit stop. RMG just a fraction slower. Still a good stop, 7 seconds dead, but no place gained here. They've come out well clear of Jamie Green, who's still trying to get some temperature into the tyres after his pit stop on the previous lap. So he's completely out on his own at the moment, Jamie Green. Needs some good lap times, but as I say, he was quick. 5th quickest in the first free practice session, quick in the dry, decent long run pace as well he had, but qualifying, as has often been the case for him this season, has not worked out for him. This is going to be a factor of these last 3 weekends at DTM, the cooler temperatures with this later finish to the season because of the later start that we all know about. If you're one of those drivers that likes driving in damp conditions and wet conditions though, you'll hope for perhaps some more damp or wet races to come.
Approaching.
As we see, one of the leaders in, Glock comes in to make his stop, and we've also got Eng and Habsburg in as well.
Go, 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 go. And watch the white line. And remember, DRS push to pass. From behind should be free.
So Team RMG get Glock out in under 7 seconds. Really good stop for Ferdinand Habsburg, 6.2 seconds. Which I think is the quickest that we've seen so far. That's good stuff from the WRT team. And then Philipp Eng coming out behind. So half the field have now made their pit stops. It should be Müller coming out at the head of the group. Watch for the blend line. Habsburg's going to be on cold tyres. Splitting him and Eng is Müller. He's already got his tyres up to temperature, so he should easily be able to get past Habsburg here on the run out of turns 2 and 3. Through at the exit to turn 2 and through turn 3 at Canal as they run down the back of the pits. He's already through, and Wittmann now will try his best to get ahead of Habsburg before Habsburg's tyres are properly up to temperature. Habsburg can fend him off. That'll be a place gained, but it could be tough here. He's down towards turn 6. And here's Wittmann's chance. He's got to go for it, really, on the way down into the chicane. Sparks fly from the front left corner of the BMW, but he is through. And he needed to do that, not just to get a position, but also to make sure that he doesn't lose too much ground to Nico Müller. I think we'll see some quick lap times from now, because this is going to be the first time that he hasn't been following a trail of cars. Rockenfeller comes in then. He's making the tyre change. That's a bit slow on the front right. Took a little bit of time to line the jack up. Oh dear, lots of time being lost here. It's over 12 seconds already. And Newey's come and gone already, and still in the pit lane. Disaster this for Mike Rockenfeller. Nightmare. And they're having trouble on the left front as well, I think. Oh dear. Eventually he gets going. It's 26 seconds, that pit stop. He's lost, well, 19 seconds really from what you'd say was a decent pit stop. So for Ernst Moser and the team, head scratching and frustration. Try and get 20 seconds back on the track. It's going to take forever, so it's going to put him right down the order, I'm afraid. He's going to emerge behind Jonathan Aberdeen, so effectively he's going to be at the back of the pack. So we need a rocky charge here. What he really needs now is a safety car, I guess, to try and bunch them all back up together for him. Almost about to be lapped by René Rast, of course, hasn't made his pit stop yet. Very much in danger of being lapped, actually, because he's still got to get his tyres up to temperature. He absolutely cannot afford to go a lap down. I know René Rast has still got to make his pit stop, but doesn't need that. So Rast and Frijns, the gap between the top two, as you can see, has grown. It's 2.6 seconds. Frijns comes through now. And then because the next few cars have all been in the pits, it's now Sheldon van der Linde up to 3rd place, but he's 13 seconds back on Robin Frijns. Maybe a Scherer up to 4th. And that front right that just wouldn't come off, just wouldn't line up. Oh, so frustrating. Such a difficult job that. You've got to be cool, calm, collected. Everything's got to be lined up, but you've got to do it in a blur, in huge speed. I think the front left had a bit of a problem being lined up as well, so just a nightmare. Don't see that very often. You see slightly sticky wheels sometimes, but not to that extent, and it's probably the slowest pit stop of the year for anybody, I would think. He's still avoiding being lapped, though, as they come into Airstad at turn 1. And René Rast, in his mirrors, the race leader, is now 3.3 seconds ahead of Robin Frijns. We've got 35 minutes, 40 seconds, plus 1 lap still to go in the race. This is looking good for Rast. He's been on it all weekend long. The car looks to have been well balanced all the way through the weekend, actually. He was 3/10 or so down with Robin Frijns in the first free practice session, but he made all of that ground up, or most of that ground up, in his second free practice session. He was 2nd in free practice 1, but 3rd in free practice 2, but actually probably happier at the end of free practice 2 because of the fact that he was only a few hundreds slower than Robin Frijns. And Rockenfeller was the driver that was up there in the top 3 in that session yesterday, but here he is after that pit stop, struggling. All right, Fabio Scherer has come in from what was 4th place. He was at the back of the mid-pack group before all the pit stops started to happen, so pretty good stop though, 7.6 seconds. Scherer now heading out through the first sector, nearly 2/10 quicker for René Rast than Robin Frijns. Through the second sector, he gains another 1/10. So it's about half a second a lap quicker at the moment than Robin Frijns. In the first free practice, struggled on his long run to keep the tyres going. Lost a lot of time. He was going 2 seconds off the pace for the last 5-6 laps of that session. He sorted that out very much in the second free practice session. Admittedly, though, not on as long a run with the shorter free practice session, rather than doing a 15-lap run. It was more like a 10-lap run. Non-respect of the blue flag. It's not something Mike Rockenfeller is used to having to deal with, a blue flag, as in, you're the slower car, let the quicker car through, please. You're about to be lapped. Well, of course, he really could do with staying on the lead lap. And so he's being investigated for non-respect to the blue flag. However, you wouldn't exactly say René Rast is all over the back of him yet, and as he gets his tyres up to temperature, even though Rast, I think, is still a bit quicker, Rockenfeller should be able to ease away from him. He's going to have the fresher tyres on, of course, as well. So he's onto the tail of Fabio Scherer. This is for position, and he's going to go right around the outside with no trouble at all. Those tyres up to temperature on the run into turn 9, into the penultimate chicane. Rast gets through as well. Away into the final chicane they come, and this is the onboard view with René Rast. See Rockefeller getting into his groove now. So under investigation, but as yet no penalty, and it's going to get a warning. It's got away with it. So a black and white flag, a warning for non-respect to the blue flag for Mark Rockefeller. So I'd say is the right decision. So 4.3 seconds clear now, René Rast, looking very good. His last lap time, 1:22.298. These were the sorts of times he was doing on his long running free practice. Very high 121s, but he was able to keep low 122s for a 14 or 15 lap duration before the tyres started to then begin to fade away. 22.9 for Robin Frijns, 7/10 slower on that lap. Van der Linde 123.1. Block on newer tyres, up to 4th place now as the leading pit stopper, 121.3. And a 120.9 for Müller and for Wittmann in 5th and 6th positions. They're on new tyres as well, of course. So now catching up to Timo Glock. 2.3 seconds the difference between Glock in 4th and Müller in 5th place. The gap is coming down, and Muller's just at the absolute best first sector and a personal best in the final sector as well. So Müller on a bit of a charge here at this stage of the race. And Sportsline are getting ready for one of their drivers. Muller's been in, so it's going to be Robin Frijns to come in from 2nd place, and that's not really a surprise because his lap times are really starting to fade. So the right time, I think, to come in for Robin before he loses even more ground on track to René Rast. Frijns comes in for now. Oh, I was going to say Van der Linde's going to go up to 2nd place, but he's just come into the pits as well. So Van der Linde from 3rd comes in. So the race is going to be between Frijns and Glock. Glock comes back out. Frijns comes back out. It's going to be somewhere near Glock, Müller, Wittmann, that pack. So there's Van der Linde coming in, doing another good job in the BMW, the South African, the driver 4th in the championship standings. BMW in the rankings this season.
Go. And you have 4 more DRS than Nico, 4 more than Nico, and
4 more DRS left than Nico Müller. Good information for Robin Frijns to have. So he comes out of the pit lane, careful to blend properly. There is Timo Glock, and behind him Müller. Now he's going to come out ahead, but his tyres are not going to be up to temperature, and it's going to take a lap really for that to happen. So his chances of fending off Timo Glock, I would say, are slim. Here comes Timo, and shows his nose already. Knows he needs to get through here. He cannot afford to be delayed because he's got Müller and Wittmann coming after him. There is Müller in the background. Then Wittmann will come through next in the BMW. So he's got to try and get through here. He's going to have far more grip on those tyres which are up to temperature. He's got the inside line, and he gets through and having to take to the curbs. In avoidance is Robin Frijns. That costs him on the exit to the turn, and here comes Müller now, closing up to him. There are still damp patches off the line here as they come down to the Gilles Villeneuve chicane. And this is the onboard view from Nico Müller, the championship leader, right behind the driver, 2nd in the championship now. This 4th position. Müller on the fresher, well, not the fresher tyres, the more up to temperature tyres. Frijns is on the fresher tyres, but they're not working properly yet on his outlap. Managed to fend off Müller though for now. René Rast has come in, so the race leader in. Team Rosberg make the changes. As we go back on board with Nico Müller coming up to the final chicane. Robin Frijns should get there first. So we knew he was unlikely to fend off Timo Glock, but he absolutely has to, from a championship point of view, fend off Nico Müller. Müller goes through right behind him. They're heading towards turn 1. Through turn 2, having just come back onto the circuit, is René Rast. Still with the race leader. He's got to get his tyres up to temperature now as well. And still got this big advantage over Timo Glock in 2nd place, and then 3rd Frijns, 4th Müller, and 5th Wittmann. Now he's lost a place, of course, to Timo Glock. However, Glock's tyres are a little bit older, and it might come back to Robin Frijns later in the race. We'll see. So Glock's got to get his head down now and hope those tyres hold up for him, try and look after them as much as he can. Marco Wittmann looking good as well. Going to get a replay. This was where Timo Glock made sure that he was going to get alongside Robin Frijns, stole the racing line. Frijns has to turn in late. He's on tyres which aren't up to temperature, and so the car understeers onto the curbs, and then the slow exit was what brought Nico Müller right onto his tail. That was from Robin's perspective there. The car thumping and bumping and bouncing over the curbs, and all the time the wheels were off the ground. He wasn't getting any traction forwards. He still managed to fend off Müller though. Müller's now got another problem though. He can't just think about trying to get ahead of Robin Frijns. He's got to think about defending from Marco Wittmann, who's been the quicker of the three over the last 2 laps of the race. So this the battle for 3rd place. Frijns 3rd, Müller 4th, Wittmann in 5th place. 122.2 for Wittmann. That's half a second quicker than Müller, and nearly 3/10 quicker than Frijns as well, which is why he's suddenly in that group. Harrison Newey, after the pit stops, have shaken down as he lost the place. It was Müller that he was defending off before, Müller and Wittmann. He's down to 6th position, Habsburg 7th. So he's lost out to Müller and Wittmann, but of course he's only lost 1 place because Mark Rockenfeller was ahead of him, was ahead of Harrison Newey, and had that nightmare of a pit stop. So the net loss for Harrison Newey is 1 position down to 6th, Habsburg 7th. Jamie Green has come up to 8th place, an early pit stop I remember, so his tyres are going to fade at the end of the race, or he's going to have to make another pit stop. Engen 9th, Van der Linde in 10th, Auer 11th, Kubica 12th, Duval 13th, Aberdeen 14th, Rockenfeller back in 15th place by going quickly, 2/10 quicker than Aberdeen on the previous lap, only 1.6 seconds behind him. Aberdeen is only just behind Loic Duval. So Rockenfeller's got to really push now. Fabio Scherer running in 16th position currently, all out on his own. He's nobody to play with at the moment, so Fabio having a quiet race, Scherer. Much more like he's got better grip available to him through that final chicane. There's Marco Wittmann attacks the Jackie X chicane around about 70 kilometres an hour through this first corner, there at about 145 kilometres an hour. And then huge lateral forces as they go through Sterrenwacht corner, the second corner, 2.5 G on the drivers, about 190 kilometres an hour through that second turn. And through turn 3 at Canal, they continue the speed along this straight, which runs to the back of the paddock, runs parallel to the start-finish straight, and then peak braking on the way into the next chicane. They are about 2.5 G under braking as well towards the Kleiner chicane, looking from something like 260 kilometres an hour down to, again, just about 80 kilometres an hour or less through this chicane. 3rd gear, accelerating up to 4th, coming out of the turn, heading through Telemann corner. 44 gear shifts per lap here at Zolder. It's hard work for the drivers. Marco Wittmann picked up a podium in the previous race weekend on the Nürburgring, looking to do so again here. An incident between Jamie Green and Philip Eng under investigation. Don't know what that's for, but stewards concerned enough to have a look at it. They're running nose to tail on the track though, with Green in 8th and Eng in 9th place. And Sheldon van der Linde coming through in 10th in the red, white and yellow BMW. And there's a last of the point scores at the moment with Lucas Auer just out of the points in 11th place. Nico Müller's just started to edge away from Marco Wittmann now. And that last lap, a 120.8. Robin Frijns did a 120.8 as well, 0.005 of a second quicker than Müller, so they're pulling away. And Timo Glock, I think he's been reeled in, by 0.2 of a second. Timo Glock lost an advantage there. So Frijns in 3rd, Müller in 4th, both catching up to Timo Glock. He's got older tyres on the car, remember, in 2nd place. The race leader, René Rast, is 4 seconds up the road. 4 seconds clear of Timo Glock in 2nd. You're looking back from Nico Müller's car at Marco Wittmann, the 2-time champion. Müller looking for his first championship title. Bit of damage limitation here, but he's doing well so far. Started the race 7th, he's up to 4th position, and there's still an opportunity to get himself onto the podium here as the team boss of Sportsline, Thomas Biermeier, the team that leads the team's standings and run two very quick drivers, both going for the title this year, Müller and Frijns. There is Frijns in the number 4 car, not in his home country, but this is his closest circuit. As we heard from Marina on the grid. Now, attacking, looking at the inside on the way into turn 1. That was a definite motive there, but he wasn't quite close enough. Just wanted to show his nose. I've seen Robin Frijns, thinking back to the Nürburgring, around the Grand Prix circuit, not scared to have a go as well. And he launched one down the inside of René Rast into turn 1. It almost paid off, and He's not the sort of driver to sit back and follow somebody around. If there's a chance, he's going to go for it. Particularly as he's the one trying to close the points gap. And at this stage of the season, they're starting to really look at that as well. They'll tell you they won't. They'll tell you they're just taking it race by race. They're not thinking about championship points, but they are. They absolutely are. 6 races to go, including this one. Green and Eng have to switch positions, so Green's been told to give the place back. It's not the first time that's happened to Jamie this year. Robin Frijns has got a tremendous run here. This is the moment. He locks up the brakes, he goes for it. Can he keep it on the road? No, he goes wide, and Timo Glock's going to get him back on the way out of the turn. Through the chicane they go, and there's a brave move, and it almost paid off. He got himself in front, but he just couldn't slow the car down in time. So Robin Frijns sits back behind Timo Glock, closes up again on the way into the next chicane. Thomas Biermeier living and breathing every moment, as he tends to do on the pit wall. It's been fairly animated at times this year. This is it, down the inside again on the way to turn 1 for Robin Frijns. Timo Glock almost pushes him out of the corner, but Robin's done it this time. The Dutchman is through, and he gains the place. Second time of asking. Terrific stuff. I told you he wouldn't hang back. That gets him up to 2nd place now. He's 7.6 seconds down on René Rast. Here's the view from Timo Glock. He might start to struggle with his tyres towards the end of the race. 22 minutes to go. Let's have a look at a replay. This is just 2 corners after the failed attempt earlier on at the end of the previous lap. Got DRS deployed on the rear wing, and he made sure he got back onto the racing line this time. Timo Glock had to stand a bit harder on the brakes than he would have liked, I think. Naturally on the way into Esther, the first corner. Here's the perspective of Robin Frijns. Look at the rear camera. You can see just how close the BMW was. That a shake of the head from Thomas Biermeier. I'm not sure if that was a look of relief or forgetting to breathe for a second and then remembering, oh, I can breathe again now. I think he was heart in mouth for a moment there, for sure. But his driver has done him proud there. Terrific move from Robin Frijns. Really good job. This man's doing a terrific job as well. René Rast, 19 times a winner in the DTM. Continues to climb up the all-time rankings in terms of race wins. He's only been in the championship since 2017. Already a double champion. And currently the most winning driver in the field. Wittmann maybe just starting to come back at Nico Müller now in this battle for 4th place. 120.8 versus 120.7 on the previous lap, so he did. It was only by 1/10 of a second, but they lost out for a couple of laps. It's going the right way at least now for Marco Wittmann. 3 BMWs in the top 6 here. Be pleased about that. The rest of them on for a podium. Timo Glock just going through there. Just a lot of ground already though, hasn't he? So Robin Frijns is that's more than a second and a half behind the Dutchman. So Robin's just gone through the first sector with a 25.8. Wasn't as quick as René Rast though. He did a 25.4. As you can see, he's pulling away from the rest. He's really thinking about making sure he beats Nico Müller now, takes some points away from him. For Müller, he's got to be thinking 3rd place here. 2 challenges in that. One is to find a way past one BMW, the other is to keep another behind, because Marco Wittmann is looking ever closer in the mirrors to the Audi of Harrison Newey's getting closer as well in 6th place as they come through with just about a second or so between the 3 cars. Harrison Newey's previous lap was a 122.3, that's a 122.6, but it's still quicker than the 2 aheader in the low 123s. So René Rast, 121.6, he's the quickest man out on the circuit. That's why his advantage is growing. 122.3 for Frijns, 123.1s for Glock and Müller, 123.2 for Wittmann, and a 122.6 as we see Robert Kubica having a wild ride over the curbs in the ART Grand Prix car, which is currently running in 13th place, that BMW. As Robin Frijns trying but failing at the moment to catch the race leader, René Rast. Was 4/10 slower through the first sector there as well, so it might be 2nd place is as good as it gets for Robin. Still be relatively pleased about that, I think, though, because yes, René Rast will take some points away from him, but they're both going to close up to Müller if it stays like this. Look at Harrison Newey having a terrific run here. He's quick all the way through the day. It's just whatever they tweaked on the car overnight, whatever Harrison has learned from the circuit through those 2 free practice sessions, it has worked a treat. He is having a super run here. Harrison's best result so far, a 10th in the 3rd race of the season. Just had the 1 points finish, so it's easily going to better that. 10th place finish that he got in the first race at the Lausitz Ring. Replay of Van der Linde, Eng and Green, and then there was the contact with Green and Eng. Remember, Green had to give the place back, so these two have been having a real tussle, those two. At the moment, it's Eng 9th, Green 10th. And Sheldon Van der Linde, looking at him now, is just ahead of the pair of them, running in 8th place currently. And for some more points, that will be the 9th consecutive race that Sheldon Van der Linde has finished in the points. And a really strong season, which is why he's 4th in the championship. And so that was another incident between Green and Eng, actually. I don't think it was the first one, because they're being investigated again. So a bit of needle between those two drivers, the Brit and the Austrian. René Rast nearly 10 seconds clear at the head of the pack now from Robin Frijns in 2nd place, continuing to pull away as well. Rast still in the 121s, a 121.9 on the previous lap. It's just on the 121.7. And Robin Frijns is half a second plus slower per lap. It's just a 122.7, so he's actually lost a second on that lap. René Rast is absolutely flying. He is, though, Robin Frijns, quicker than those behind. Warning for Eng for more than one change of direction as he defended his place, which is why they adjudge Jamie Green to have gone into the back of him because of that switch of direction. Oh, and there is damage to the front right corner of Jamie's car as a result of that contact, which we saw from behind on the other camera angle. It's been a fraught race for Jamie. He's just about in the points at the moment in 10th position, but he's only 1.8 seconds clear of Lucas Auer. That's not going to help the handling or aerodynamics of his car. Also worrying will be whether the tyre might begin to rub with that bodywork. You can see smoke coming from it. And sometimes that can work out fine. It just rubs away the bodywork until it stops contact with the tyre, but there's always the worry that could cause a puncture as well. René Rast comes through, nothing in front, nothing behind. Driving around the countryside here in Belgium on his own at rather high speeds, but having a relatively straightforward race. Not that it's ever straightforward to drive one of these beasts, but he's looking very, very strong indeed. He's got just what he needs here to keep himself very much in the championship fight. Well, I would like to get himself on the podium, but again, he's having to defend from this man, Marco Wittmann, just 0.6 of a second behind him. And then just behind the pair of them, Harrison Newey in 6th place. This is not bad for Harrison Newey, the young British driver. He's basically just behind a 2-time champion, just behind a championship leader, and the car in front is an ex-Formula 1 driver. So Harrison Newey can be well pleased with the way this is going for him here at Zolder. Like his new favourite track. Marco Wittmann, you can see in the rear-facing camera, he gets the view of Harrison Newey. He's not close enough to threaten him just yet. So Marco can concentrate on what's ahead. You get the impression Marco's dragged the most from that car this year. So a terrific driver, Marco Wittmann, as well as a 2-time champion of the DTM. He's had to fight really hard just to get the car onto the podium at times, which he's managed to achieve 3 times this season. 3 third-place finishes, 2 at the Lausitz Ring, 1 at the Nürburgring, and it's the 2nd stop for Robert Kubica. So we are seeing at least one 2-stop strategy. 9.2 seconds. I told you about the extra staff they have to bring in to do the pit stops because they don't have enough mechanics for all 9 of them to be trained up pit members of the crew. So 9.2 is not bad for them, actually. They're going the right way. It's better for them. So he'll rejoin behind Jonathan Aberdeen back in 16th place, but he's got fresh tyres, and if others are going long on their 2nd tyres and are going to get to the finish, they're going to start to struggle. So it might be a chance for Robert to pick up some places during the last 10 minutes or so of the race. We've still got 14 to go, plus 1 lap. So I guess if you are going to do a 2-stop strategy, now's the time to do it. And actually, Jamie Green's coming as well. Remember, he did a 2-stopper last year and got himself up on the podium. Managed to come through very late on with a bit of a charge at the end of the race. A few laps to go, running in 5th position. And he managed to get ahead of Sheldon van der Linde for 3rd place on the final lap of the race. Sheldon then lost 4th place as well on the very last lap, having started on pole position here. I was going to say 12 months ago, and it was 18 months ago, but it was back in May 2019 when the championship was last here. And that is a stationary Jamie Green. It's not a 2-stop strategy. I'm afraid it looks like a retirement, and you can only assume it's to do with the damage to the front right of the car. This has become too much to bear. And that was where Philippe got the warning for more than one change of direction. And that was where Jamie picked up that quite considerable damage to the front right corner of the car. And it must have been bad to bring Jamie in. He wouldn't have stopped otherwise, because he was at least on for a championship point. So another really disappointing day, I'm afraid, for Jamie. He's due a bit of good luck sometime soon, you would say. Right, René Rast in qualifying free practice mode here, rather than race mode, because he's miles clear, 13.1 seconds ahead. Still in the 121s. So all that good work he did on long run pace yesterday in free practice has really paid off today. Looking strong. 13.1 seconds clear of Robin Frijns. Robin in turn is nearly 9 seconds clear of Timo Glock in 3rd place. Then the battle starts to heat up. Glock to Müller, 3rd to 4th, just half a second. You've got Wittmann and Newey just behind as well. And you've got Ferdinand Habsburg here in 7th place, coming under a bit more scrutiny now from Sheldon van der Linde. Only a 1/10 of a second between the pair of them as they went through. So it's another Audi versus BMW battle here, and through the chicane, much smoother and with much more traction and grip with Sheldon van der Linde. Gap just grows a bit as they go up through the gears now. Sheldon with a target to aim for is going to close up again under braking, and look how close it is between Timo Glock and Nico Müller. Müller now draws alongside, trying to go around the outside here. That's going to be brave. He's done it. Absolutely fantastic move from Nico Müller around the outside. And Timo Glock has got slightly older tyres, but that requires huge commitment. Remember, he's a championship leader, and he's risking everything doing that. But he knows he needs to make sure he doesn't lose too many points to Robin Frijns in particular. So that was committed stuff. Really, really good move from the Swiss. You can see just how much he's grown as a driver over these last 2 seasons. Very, very strong year last year to run René Rast tight for most of the season towards the championship title. And it from the word go really this year. And whenever he's faced a bit of adversity this year, he's kept cool and he's come back through, hasn't he? Just like from the back at the Nürburgring. Look at that. That is terrific. Round the outside of somebody. You never like to be passed by somebody coming around the outside of you. Never. And if you're on the other end of it, you're the driver taking the outside line, you feel good about yourself, you really do. You've got the longer route, you've covered more ground, you're at more risk, you're closer to the gravel trap, you only need a tap from the driver on the inside and you're off. Really good stuff. And got through the corner on the exit okay as well, didn't he? So now, Müller gains back some useful points. He'll still be, of course, the championship leader. The gap will be 14 points between him and Robin Frijns as it stands. And then 34 points between Rast and Müller. Rast gaining back 10 points in this race, having already gained back 3 points for qualifying on pole position this morning, with Müller for the rare occasion out of the top 10 only for the 2nd time this season that Müller hadn't qualified in the top 3, rather. Now, Harrison Newey suddenly looking more menacing on the tail of Marco Wittmann here. He got close to him a few laps ago, then backed off a bit, and now he's right with Marco once again. It's looking considerably darker as well overhead at some times. Some of the shots, barge getting past in the background on the canal as Harrison Newey tries to barge his way through around the outside. Maybe you saw what Nico Müller did just up the road, but he's very much quicker coming out of the turn as well, and Marco Wittmann's going to have to go super defensive on the way into the Gilles Villeneuve chicane now on the brakes. It's going to be hard to pass there, so Newey has to sit tight. He knows more places are up for grabs here. If he can get past Marco Wittmann, he can catch up to Timo Glock. Still 9 minutes plus 1 lap to go in the race. Harrison Newey having by far his best race of the season, and now he goes for it down the inside, locks up the brakes. This is tight. Marco Wittmann makes him work for it, but Harrison Newey is through. Terrific move, and he's up to 5th place now. Really good drive this from Harrison, and already look, he's 2-3 car lengths clear of Marco Wittmann. he's forgotten about Marco now. He's next homing in on Timo Glock. Here's a replay. This was a lovely move. It's a tight corner there. Really tight corner as you get through into turn 12. Just before that Jochen Rindt chicane, which you can take flat as you accelerate through. You can see many overtakes there. Nicely done that by Harrison Newey. Formula 3 racer. Some Super GT racing. Some GT racing last year. Into DTM, into a car for the first time. Just puts a wheel on the gravel. First driver to do that this weekend. But because he's pushing to try and catch Timo Glock. He would like 4th place now. Here's your race leader, René Rast, 16.1 seconds clear. This is huge. Not going to get him any more points, but it's nice to win by such a comfortable margin. He's on for 25 points. Robin Frijns on for 18 points in second. And Müller on for 15 now that he's got himself up into 3rd position. René Rast is pretty much the entire start-finish straight clear of the 2nd place car. Must be a good feeling. He's only just slipped into the low 122s as well. His pace is still very good. He's the only driver in the 122s. Nobody else in the one. Actually, I tell a lie. Rockenfeller's in the 122s. He's back into the points now, Mike Rockenfeller. He's just in the background there. Look, as we've got going slowly, Marco Wittmann is going to get another place because Wittmann is cruising back to the pits, I'm afraid. What a shame. It's going to go straight onto the pits here. Wittmann peels off out of the race with just 7 minutes to go and out of the points as well. So that's going to give Rocky another place. He's back up to 9th position. And
get to the box.
The fastest drivers on the track on fresh tyres.
Try to park it safe if it's possible. Try to park it safe. And it's not in the way.
So I think he's not sure if he's going to get it back to the pits here. He's crawling back, isn't he? It's a huge shame for Marco, who has only twice this year not finished in the points. He's finished all the races. Had an 11th in the first race at Spa, where he almost got into the points, and a 14th at Assen. Otherwise, he's been a consistent points scorer and race finisher, but a rare failure, and Marco Wittmann out. So Bitzer will gain another place. That'll pay him up to 14th now. He's on the fresh tyres and going quickly. Can he gain a few back here? I'm not sure he's going to get all the way up to the points with only 6 minutes plus a lap to go, but we'll see. Rast to Frijns, the gap 16.4 seconds still. Just 0.2 of a second the difference between them. As the BMW of Marco Wittmann back into the garage now. And, well, they have to work out the problem and get it fixed, ready for another go tomorrow, ahead of tomorrow's qualifying session. That was the moment it happened.
I cannot shift down anymore. No gear shift possible.
So it sounds like transmission issue. Very calm about it, wasn't he? I suppose he's been there and seen it all before in his time. But as I say, you don't have many disappointments in terms of the reliability of that car, so a rare failure indeed, but out of the race for Marco Wittmann. And he lost the place, of course, to Harrison Newey, who is how far behind Timo Glock? Only 1.2 seconds now, and on the last lap he was 0.8 quicker, so Harrison Newey is closing up to 4th place. It's going to be the battle to watch, I think, during the last 5 minutes or so of the race, because Rast is, as you can see, forever clear. Time to have a coffee and a biscuit before the 2nd place car of Frijns and Müller come Müller in 3rd come through. Absolutely miles clear. Frijns' gap to Muller's pretty substantial as well, as you've seen. So 16 seconds between the top two. And then Frijns to Müller, the gap from 2nd to 3rd is just under 13 seconds. So Glock comes through and Newey comes through over the line, and there's just 0.7 of a second between them now. So Harrison Newey on a charge here. He's already on for his best result so far in his first season at DTM. He could get another position here with Timo Glock maybe struggling on the tyres now. In 4th place, Team Rosberg, watch on. And man, he's headed for a race victory, no doubt about it. There's just 4 minutes plus a lap left on the clock now. Through comes René Rast. Times are only just starting to go off now, 1:22.8, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's just backed off a bit now, just trying to bring the car home. Doesn't need to push, just needs to cruise around really for the remaining laps. Make sure he gets to finish, having done all the hard work. Right, here's Timo Glock. Look in the rear-facing camera, and you will see the number 10 Audi of Harrison Newey getting bigger and bigger in the mirrors. Pushing on hard here. He's got a big gap back to Sheldon van der Linde in 6th place, so he's free to go on the attack here. He hasn't got to worry about defending his position at all. Coming up towards the final 2 corners of the lap, the Jackie chicane. And Harrison Newey started the lap just 0.7 of a second behind. The WRT Audi driver continues to put Timo Glock under pressure, but Timo, hugely experienced of course, he's trying to withstand it, and they go through. The lap times are 1:23.6 versus 1:23.7, so actually Timo Glock responds by going a 10th quicker on that lap, which I'm sure to the frustration of Harrison Newey. He's not going to give up yet though. All he can do is keep up the pressure here and hope that he can force Timo Glock into a mistake. He's got to keep going quickly because on the same sort of pace as them is Sheldon van der Linde just behind as well. Lots of discarded fragments of rubber on the circuit there, you can see. So coming through, Glock in 4th, Newey in the number 10 Audi in 5th place, the dark blue Audi, and then the BMW, the red, white and yellow of van der Linde. Still looking like there might be a threat of a few spots away at the end of this race, but we're almost there now. Just 2 minutes plus 1 lap to go, and Glock really has done a good job responding here, hasn't he? I'm not going to lose my 4th place, he says. Gets his head back down. Newey catches him up under braking at certain sections. That was the corner in which he gained the place on Marco Wittmann. And here, a replay of, look at that, spectacular stuff. Sparks fly from Mike Rockenfeller's car as he continues to go on the attack. I was trying to get past Philippe. I think he did it. He's 8th and Rockenfeller still 9th, looking at the timing screen. Here's your race leader, René Rast, over the crest once again as he comes through turns 6 and 7 down towards the chicane at 8, 9 and 10. Marco Wittmann's car still being looked at, obviously not going to get back in this race, so it could be a late night ahead for the team as they try and get the car up and running for tomorrow's qualifying session tomorrow morning. No, Mike Rockenfeller did get past Philippe Eng, still ahead of him in 8th place as they came through across the line. Just about to go into the final minute of the clock then. That'll tick down, and at the end of that lap, when the clock has ticked down, we'll get the 1 more lap to go. René Rast still maintaining the advantage of 16 seconds, even though pace has dropped back a bit now. He's still pretty much lapping similar times to Robin Frijns in 2nd place. So he's gone through. He's going through turn 1 now, into turn 2, and will get 1 more lap at the end of this one. Robin Frijns, this is the advantage that he's got, still hasn't come through. He's just crossed the line now. So he's coming out of turn 3, René Rast, and the 2nd place car's only just gone over the start-finish line. That's the sort of advantage he's got here. Coming out of the canal turn now, onto this back straight he goes. There's Robin Frijns, who's been caught a little bit by Nico Müller, but Müller's still more than 10 seconds behind him in 3rd place. Rapidly catching him though, 121.8 for Nico Müller last time around. And this is Loic de Waal trying to find a way past Lucas Auer. Now this is for the final championship point for 10th place. And Loic de Waal, he's not hanging around. Through he goes, first time of asking, and it's a lovely move to put the Audi ahead. So the Team Phoenix car gets through, and Lucas Auer frustratingly drops to 11th place with no championship point up for grabs. He's got Jonathan Aberdeen closing up as well in the background. South African Fabio Scherer has just crossed the line in 13th place. Then Robert Kubica, who's flying on the newer tyres after the 2-stop strategy, in 14th place, but he's not going to gain any more positions now as the race leader René Rast comes through to start the final lap of the race. On the way to Aerst, turn 1 he goes. It's been a textbook drive from René. He was worried about getting the car off the line with the damp patches on his side of the grid. He needn't have worried because he had a beautiful start, and since then he has not looked back. Car has been perfect. René Rast has been perfect. The pit did a perfect job. The pit crew did a perfect job during the stop. And it's one of those rare races where everything goes like clockwork. And even though coming into this race he was trailing the championship leader by 44 points with only 6 races to go, You rule out René Rast at your peril. 25 points headed his way. His third win of the season coming up, and it couldn't have come at a better time for him. Just got to negotiate the final half lap now of this circuit, this 4-kilometre long Zolder circuit. Picked up some leaves as well here in the autumn, which are blowing around in the breeze. But through he comes now with just one more chicane to go. René Rast all out on his own. He's actually pulled further clear on this final lap or so. He's nearly 17 seconds clear now. And René Rast comes out of the final turn. The second flag is hit.
Yes, well done. Really good. So, ALS off, slow in, pick up please, and remain, or take the data stick with you. I see you in the front.
Copy. Thank you guys. Jesus, one car. Thank you.
Yes, man. Yes, that's the way I like it. Good job.
Happy René Rast.
Thank you guys. Awesome job.
Really good, they said. I'd say better than that. That was flawless. And that's probably the best car he's had under him all season long. At times they've struggled to match the Sportsline Audis of Frijns and Müller, but that car was handling superbly, and it has done right from the beginning of the weekend. Still not a bad result though for Thomas Biermeier and Sportsline. They picked up a second and third place. Robin Frijns coming home in second place in the end, 18.8 seconds behind René Rast, and only 6.7 seconds clear of Nico Müller, who's really flying at the end of that race just to try and keep the pressure up. So it's the usual top three, but with Rast taking his third win of the season, Frijns coming home in second, Müller in third, and he'll be happy with third, I think, given that he started in 7th place. Timo Glock fending off Harrison Newey. They crossed the line just half a second apart in 4th and 5th positions. And then 6th place Sheldon van der Linde, Ferdinand Habsburg in 7th, Mike Rockenfeller, who had that long pit stop with the sticking front wheels and lost about 19-20 seconds, comes back to 8th place. Really good drive that in the second half for Mike Rockenfeller. 9th place to Philip Eng. There was another incident involving Philip Eng that was being investigated, but no further action. That was between him and Rockenfeller. So Rocky 8th, Eng 9th, and Loic de Val, as we saw, grabbing the final point in 10th. Jonathan Aberdeen got past Lucas Auer on, I think, the final lap of the race as well. So he finished 11th, Auer down in 12th, Fabio Scherer 13th, and a lap down, Robert Kubica had a 2-stop strategy, but it didn't quite work for him, I'm afraid. 14th place, Marco Wittmann and Jamie Green dropping out of the race. And no surprises to learn that the fastest lap of the race went to the race winner, René Rast, who was quick from start to finish. His 20th career victory in the DTM, and he has picked up today the maximum points, 28, 25 for the race win and 3 for pole position. Nico Müller, the championship leader, has picked up 15. So the gap closes at the top of the standings with 5 races to go. 257 points for Nico Müller, 243 for Robin Frijns, just 14 between them now, and then 20 points behind Robin, René Rast, who is currently 24 points adrift. Sorry, 34 points adrift of Nico Müller, but he was 47 behind at the start of the weekend. Van der Linde 4th, Rockenfeller 5th, and de Val 6th in the championship standings. But Timo Glock only a point behind him now after that 4th place finish, 7th in the standings. Here he is then, man of the moment, points to the 4 rings on the steering wheel with a big grin on his face. Helmet or not, you can tell that he's beaming from ear to ear. Not just the victory, but the manner of the victory. The way he's just demolished everybody there. That was superb. And nothing they can do but congratulate him. Good to see, as ever, the sportsman Nico Müller giving a fist bump to his championship rival. He beat him to the title last year, but he's still got his nose in front here in the championship. And I don't know if he's feeling the pressure or not, but you have to say, every time Nico Müller has been up against it, he's bounced back really well. From the spin and last place in the race last time out 3 weekends ago to get back to 5th place. He's had a couple of moments where he's had to fight through from adversity, and today was another example of that. And well, put off one of the best moves of the race as well, didn't he? I think we'll have to give the move of the race to Harrison Newey though, and a terrific effort for him in 5th place. So René Rast, Robin Frijns and Nico Müller out of the cars. The Power Girls in the background there. The fashion design, the Austrian fashion designer Marina Manseda has designed the Power Girls, the Grid Girls uniforms this year, and they're different for every round. They reflect the country and the nationality as well. So you can see the Belgian flag colours there on the very sensible clothing of fleeces in what are cold conditions, or cool conditions at least here at Zolder. Be pretty similar conditions tomorrow. And here another chance to see some slow-mos of the race winner as he takes this aggressive but perfect line through the chicanes, getting pretty close to in fact, knocking one of the markers there, as he just, from a racing driver's point of view, tries to turn all of those corners into straights, but without going over the track limits. Pushing it as close as he can to the limits, though, and taking that race victory. Time then for the presentations. Trophies await, face masks are on. We'll have our top 3 drivers, of course, plus our winning team, which is going to be Team Rosberg. First up, though, is our 3rd place driver. Has to give himself the trophy these days, of course, in these corona times. Nico Müller picks up 3rd place for Team Sportsline. And it's his teammate Robin Frijns that will pick up the silverware for 2nd place. The winning team are Team Rosberg. And with René Rast, the race winner, it's his race engineer Florian Rinks that will pick up the trophy. Let's see if Florian will hear him all the time on the radio. Here's the man of the day, though, René Rast, onto the top step of the podium for the 3rd time this season, the 20th time in his DTM career. And we'll now have the German national anthem.
Gentlemen, congratulations. Show your trophy.
So the German national anthem plays here at Zolder for the race winner, René Rast. And the drivers will pose for some photos. And of course, Florian Rinks from Team Rosberg as well take their silverware. And still keeping up the fight in the Teams Championship up against Team Sportsline as well. Photos done. They're now instructed to open but not drink the champagne.
And now, gentlemen,
and that 20th victory of his career now puts him ahead of Kurt Thiem. So only 4 drivers in the DTM history have won more races now than René Rast. Bernd Schneider with 43, Klaus Ledvig with 37, and double champions Matthias Ekstrom and Gary Paffett took 23 races apiece in those. He might get ahead of them in the rankings between now and the end of the season. If he keeps up this good work, it's going to be hard to see anybody stopping him if he can pull out that sort of performance tomorrow. But as has so often been the case in DTM 2020, when a car flies away in one race, it's not necessarily quite as quick the next day. The other's able to catch and close the gap. So there's still hope for the likes of Nico Müller, you can see here with the super slow-mo in 3rd place. They had 1 double race winner this year, as in winning both races on a weekend, and that was Nico in the first weekend of the season at Spa. Robin Frijns coming home in 2nd place. That's his 4th consecutive podium finish. And actually, in the last 7 races, in fact, the last 9 races, he's only been off the podium once, and that was a 5th place finish. Great consistency from Robin Frijns, and for René Rast as well. That's his 5th podium on the trot. His first win, though, since the 5th race of the season at the Lausitz Ring. And it is very timely indeed, as it puts him very much right in that championship fight now, just behind Robin Frijns and the championship leader Nico Müller. So good comeback for Nico Müller, gained some places. Let's see how he's feeling about the race. He's speaking down with Verena Rinks.
Fantastic pickup, actually. Nico Müller, you were starting in P7 and you ended up on P3, so you really did catch up well. So how happy are you with P3?
Yeah, the race was good. I think on a track where basically overtaking is pretty much impossible, to come from 7th to 3rd without profiting from any incidents showed that, you know, we can get ourselves out of difficult situations. This morning qualifying was very tricky in those damp conditions, and I didn't feel one with the car. And in such conditions, when you don't trust the car, you know, it's very difficult to get a good lap together. I didn't manage, and that made our lives difficult for the race, but pretty happy, to be honest, to come back onto the podium. Also because at the start, you know, the left-hand side was still wet, the right-hand side was fully dry, and I was on the left. I was like, whoa, that will be tricky. So I lost the place to Newey, behind whom I lost a lot of time in the beginning of the race. Was a bit annoying. But yeah, to still come back from that with a good strategy, some good moves, nice fight with Timo, I'm pretty pleased with that.
Also, you have 15 points advantage ahead of Robin Frijns, so that's a good feeling, I guess, for tomorrow's race.
Well, you know, it's becoming quite exciting now, I would say. You know, we're going into the final part of the championship. You want to maximize every race, collect every point that you can. And I think today, you know, was an important statement that even when a day, you know, looks difficult to us, when we maybe don't have the strongest package, we can still score good points. But tomorrow we definitely want to, you know, score more points than René and Robin again.
All right, thank you so much, Nico.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm going to try to grab René. There he is, the winner of the race, René Rast. Congratulations. But can I just remind you, at the beginning of the race, you were whining a little bit about us as well. You had a flawless, perfect race.
Yeah, I was a bit pessimistic before the start of the race. But, you know, normally when it's wet, you have no grip. And, I mean, it was okay. I had a good getaway. I could stay ahead of Nico, so everything was okay. And the pace we had today was just, I mean, amazing. The car was just going and going and getting quicker and quicker. It was just, I mean, I've never had such a quick car this year. So big thanks to the team, and hopefully we can continue like that.
Hopefully, because I mean, the car is perfect. You did a flawless race, so maybe for tomorrow that's a good omen. That's a good sign, right?
I hope so. The pace is there. We saw it today. Tomorrow we just need to repeat what we did today and hopefully to win again.
Sounds so easy when you say it. Thank you so much, René. Back to the commentator.
Thanks very much. Yeah, I was going to say the start definitely was okay, René, and well, I told you, didn't I? That was the best car he's had this year, and a really fair synopsis of the race as well, and grounded synopsis from a pretty pleased Nico Müller. Right, the team standings now. Team AB Sportsline have got exactly 500 points. Team Rosberg have done their best to keep the pressure up, 276, but the title could be decided in favour of AB Sportsline if results go their way tomorrow. Third, Team Phoenix, and the best of the BMW squads are Team RMG, fourth on 173 points, with RBM in fifth on 141. And let's see how Robin Frijns is feeling about his latest podium finish and the championship as a whole. He's now speaking with Verena.
So we've got Robin Frijns here. Robin, it was a tough race. It was a good race for you. And only 15 points is the difference between you and Nico. So how do you feel about the race? And yeah.
Well, I think the race was... I was a bit in no one's land the last 10-15 laps after the stop. I think at the beginning I was maybe a bit quicker than René. I was trying to overtake him at one point, but then he was gradually pulling away from me as I was struggling with the tires more than him. But after the stop I was fighting with Timo, which cost me quite a lot of time. And when I secured my P2 from Timo, I was just saving my tires till the end and not doing any mistakes, because P1 was not up for grabs today.
And looking at tomorrow, do you think there's something you guys can do with the car?
I think tomorrow qualifying is very important, because overtaking here is quite difficult. The weather will play always a big role, because it's going to be wet, dry as today. But as long as we keep on doing what we are doing, be always in the top 3, then it will go to the wire for sure.
All right, Robin, thank you so much. Back to you.
Thanks very much, Verena. So great to hear the thoughts, the post-race thoughts of all three of our podium finishers here, René Rast, Robin Frijns and Nico Müller. And a very, very happy René Rast will be delighted that we've got 3 more races to come here at Zolder. One tomorrow, of course, starting at the same time, just after 1:30 local time. We're on air from 1:15, and also bringing you, of course, the qualifying coverage from tomorrow morning's very important session. And then, of course, we're back here next weekend for 2 more races, the penultimate round. So it is looking very tasty indeed with the championship. Another race to come tomorrow. Thanks from me in the commentary box. Back to Verena now to wrap up the show.
That's it from us from here. Let me tell you, it is freezing cold, but it was an exciting race, and we're really looking forward to tomorrow. Let's see what that brings in regards to weather. I think it's going to be similar conditions, but nonetheless, I'm sure we're going to see a very, very exciting race. So you do not want to miss it. And for now, here are the highlights. Do enjoy and see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.